Hey chat, how we all doing today? I'm gonna be honest, today started out to be a bit of a mess, so... Oh, uh, thanks Diamond, I believe it's Diamond Ally. Thanks for the follow. And I finally hit 50 followers on Twitch, neat. Now I've just gotta get the viewership up a bit, and hopefully I should be able to use channel points soon. And that's when things start to get a bit silly. Alright, so just quickly setting up this. So, cameras, bones are all set. Alright. Okay, time to do this. Now, this is the one that I've been having the most issues with, not necessarily because of the whole walking cycle, but the fact that this thing moves while walking. So, I need to set this back up again just for a quick moment. I think this is all the action I need to fix too. So I grab all of these and duplicate them to frame 25. And hide all the stuff I'm not going to be actively using at the moment. So, hide the cameras so I can see the bot. Rivet, rivet, rivet. You are quite the thorn in my side, but that is fine. Alright, so for this, I want this to be... I think I said 1 meter away at some point, right? Yeah, 1 meter. So it's like that, and then I want to set the leg position of these. Contact. Now this is one of those ones where I think I can get away with 0.3 meters for the legs, because Rivet is just so much taller. What kind of robot is that? I believe this one's called Rivet, and this is the one that teaches you how to basically do arms during your walk cycle. So 0.3 here. Okay, it's probably a bit too far now I think about it. Alright, I'll set it back to 0.25 maybe. Same with this side. We just need to move the cameras just a smidge. Rivet, amazing. Yeah, honestly, like, the person who created and named these things did a really good job on them, to be honest. So I want to grab all of these. And using this one as a basis, I'm going to move that. Now, I believe these are already set up with constraints, right? Yeah. Thankfully, past me was decent enough to remember to add the constraints before saving, so I'm very much appreciative of that. Cool. So that's the first position there. And then posing, I want to go to this, I believe. Yeah, copy that. And then paste those into the secondary contact and then move them 0.5 meters. And now these ones, I want to copy that, Control V, GY -1. So now, yeah, those will be moving. And the feet are staying in place this time, so that's always a good start. Alright, so the next easiest ones would probably be the passing. Okay, I do need to make sure that I set this to be linear, because otherwise the body's not going to stay above the feet correctly. So if I grab this lot here, so I'm going to delete those because I don't need scale for the torso. I am probably going to need rotation though, but this one specifically. Grab the length and set this to be linear. So yeah, now that should stay directly above the feet, as was intended. So now the passing movement, which is the next easiest thing for me to do. Set that back to the timeline. Grab that to Z, all the way around about here. How much do I want to rotate this by? 10 degrees probably? Oh. Ah, heck. Okay, forgot about that. I always seem to forget about the rotation around the 3D cursor, but I think that might just be me being a bit silly. So now I can grab all of these. I wonder if this would be a better usage of, instead of using the heel. I'll try that in my own spare time. So grab all these. Copy that. Shift M to mirror that, and then go to the next pass. Control Shift B. Except I don't want the foot position to be affected here. So get rid of the X position. The Y position. It's just the Z that I want. Okay, cool. So we've got the foot moving in the way that I want it to. I do need to alter the foot movements though. So this is the... Why do I have annotations here? That doesn't need to be active, thanks. So that foot is already rotating up on the pass, which I don't want it to. So unrotate that. It only needs to start rotating. Okay. Need to rotate that up first. 2 frames later I want to unrotate that. But I also need to have this rotated upwards. So 1, 2, and then the next frame this needs to be unrotated. And then where is that coming from? What is causing that rotation? It's this one here. So on the pass, that should be unrotated. And then on the up, I want this heel to be rotated upwards. And then the contact is a little bit more. So that's rotated like that, and then contact there is that, and then okay, so that should be good, I think. Now, why? That should not be like that. Okay, maybe I need to move this one back slightly more. Let's try putting this at 0.3 meters. That might be a better choice. So then this one here. I want to copy all this. Copy, Control-Shift-B, and then, oh, I just want these ones. Control-Shift-B, and I want to move these by half a meter. Oh, that's concerning. Why is that moving? That should not be moving in my location at all. Okay, so that should be there. If I wanted to keep that in the same position. What have I done? Why? So, like, it's fine to passing, and then it's almost like the torso is not moving fast enough to catch up. So if that's in the same position, maybe this one needs to be moved back a bit. And this one needs to be moved in the same position. So then this one needs to be up. So then this here needs to be like, the funny thing is that contact is almost the exact same as low. The only real difference is the position of the body, which I do need to do something about now that I think about it. Okay, I just wanted the feet. Oh. Okay, so this one I want to start slightly further down. So 0.2 into 0.04. Now I want to set the Z to 0. And then I want to set this to 0.02. Okay, so then the Z location of the torso I can literally just duplicate. Right. Now that I've done that, it's time to go back to these. So this is supposed to go down here, and then this is supposed to stay down. Okay, I'm starting to think maybe this is a bit too high. A little bit further down. Okay, it's a good start. So just comparing it to this. So this needs to be up a lot further. And then maybe want to drag this back just a smidge. Because the leg seems to sort of just stay in that position here. So I'm just looking at this. I could actually rotate that a bit more. Make this a bit floppier. So just looking at it from the other side, which is roughly what I'd expect that to be. So that's the high position. Rotate that down slightly. Yeah, okay, cool. And now just do all this animation here. So Alt R on that. And then here I want to Alt R. So now this should be relatively good. So copy that. Actually, I want to grab all these. Copy, Control Shift M, and then heck, okay. Need to make sure I delete all these first. So Control Shift V, plus 24. Clear all that out. So now I do need to go into the graph editor just briefly here to fix this. So Y location. Hide the distance. I'll delete those so it doesn't get in the way. Now G, grab that by 0.5 and grab all the rest of this and GY minus 1. Is it minus 1? Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Okay. And yet somehow this is messing up. Okay, what's happened here to cause that? This should definitely not be moving in any meaningful way. So if I snap... So if I snap to the nearest marker... I said why specifically. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, so you're clearly not doing what I asked of you. That sounds about right. Hmm. Maybe if I switch these to linear? But if I switch them to linear, it shouldn't even matter at that point. 5, that, 25. It's 1. We should be in the exact same position. How are they not? So somehow it's going from 2.5 to that. So I guess we're just going to fix this manually. It's just mirrors the contact wrong. I feel like the contact is definitely wrong. The contact here is in a different position from where it should be. Why would that be? Maybe the leg... Probably the leg position is off. So if I grab all of this... Grab this entire set here. Okay, yeah, that's in a proper position now. Copy that. Control V. Just want these two here. Because I don't know if moving the position of the rest of these is going to affect anything. I'd rather not take that risk. Copy that. Control V. G minus 1. Y specifically. That's a bit better. Now I do need to change... Oh, okay, crap. It's doing this again. Okay. Why is it doing this again? Hold up. It's still moving? Huh? Why is it still... Bruh. Okay. So if that's doing that... Pesky annoyance. Why have you done this? So if I copy this... Okay, I accidentally selected all this instead of just the legs like I want to. It seems intent on moving. And it does stay in the correct position here, but I can't get to stop moving the foot. But if I move the foot anymore, it's going to look strange. Okay. So in order to do that, I'd have to set the leg position here. Be 0.25. So that's going to bring it close to the body. But that's not what I want, though. Like, I want the same length of leg here. I want it to not move the leg at all. So how would I go about... Pesky, pesky, pesky. So this movement here, it does stay in the same position. So maybe I want the front leg on this one to be wider. That doesn't make any sense because is the leg bend in the same position here? I don't think it is. Wait, hang on. I need to double check. So it's around about 2 here. And it's certainly less than in this position. So maybe the best option here is to actually move this back. But then it doesn't look centered. That's the problem. So the foot IK position needs to not move to the Y. What has it done here? Why are you... Okay, so that's the right position for it. Is 0.7. So now if I move this one back, 0.2, this should... Yeah, it's... Okay, so it was the front leg that was being weird. Except, no, now this thing is being weird. What is it doing? I'm sorry. First of all, why are you even up in the Z in the first place? Second of all, why are you not 0.2? 0.25, sorry. Okay, now this thing's being weird again. So if this is 0.25, this is supposed to be 0.7. That means this back foot is not doing as it's told. So where is it going wrong? So if that's moving like that, that should be fine. The Y location, yeah, is staying stable. And yet somehow the space between these is shorter. Okay, let's copy these then, I guess. Okay, that works a bit better now. I have no idea why it sometimes just decides that it doesn't want to work correctly. It can be so silly sometimes. Also, I'm going to change the position of this curl here. Not by very much, but just probably like about that much. I want the toe position to be different as well. Like, do I want the toe position to slap down slightly later, maybe? I think I do, actually. Okay, that feels a lot better. So then on the pass, that doesn't move, that's correct. And it starts why does it start moving at this? Okay, first of all, why are these even here? Did I forget to change the keying again? Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, they'll probably do it. Okay, I need to start deleting the scaling keys from these because they're starting to get annoying. Okay, there we go. It's a bit cleaner. Now, this here... yeah, it just starts scuffing the floor. It shouldn't be moving. Okay, so... grab both of these. Okay. I just need the positioning data of these. Those. So grab all of these from here. Just these ones. And then Control V. And then the rotation on this one needs to stay down until after the pass. And then grab all this. Actually, this extra keyframe doesn't need to be here. Because it stays in the same position until pass anyway. Control M, and then Okay, what has happened here? So, copy that. Control Shift N. Make sure I get rid of all of these silly scales. I don't even know why the foot controls have scales attached to them. Like, what's the point? Most of the time they're only used for location and rotational data only, so why would you want to put scale data in there? Probably some thing that I didn't even think to consider. So now I do need to do this whole shebang again. So I grab that one and into there we go. Move that one. And then the slot here needs to be moved. Okay, there we go. Okay, now something important that I need to do for all of these is I need to grab every single one of these I have made thus far, and I need to Shift E and make cyclic. Now, the two that I need to do or two types rather, that I need to do this on. So the Y location for both of these, I need to set the curve modifier to be repeat with offset on both ends. And then same with this one. And then this side I also need to repeat with offset. Those. Yeah, the leg tweaks could definitely use some work, but certainly better than some of the stuff that could be doing. So as long as it stays consistent all the way through, I can be fairly confident that it's not going to go haywire. Okay, yeah, it's doing its job. It's all that matters. So, goes down, curls up on the contact, and the low. I wonder if the low can go slightly lower than this. Maybe, yeah, that might be a better decision. So let's set the low to be 0.06 on these. I think the pass might be slightly too high. 0.2. I want 0.02. I don't want him to be a noodle boy. That needs to be in the negative. So the low goes there, pass is, yeah, 0.02. And then the up is 0 here. So that should be fairly clean. I wonder if the kick out here, so this is the up pose, I wonder if that needs to be back slightly further. It probably does need to be back slightly further, to be honest. So if I grab the dope sheet here, do I think the feet are too high? Probably not. Like, that feels like a fairly reasonable height. Okay, so when it goes into the pass position, I want it to, like, pull off the ground. Like, I don't want it to just slide. So... work on this side, actually. So when this pulls up, how would I get it to peel off the ground like that, though? I'll probably have to do some curve modifications just to get away with that. So when it's moving, I don't want the rotation, I want this. So when it moves off the ground, I want to stay in that position just a little bit longer. And then yeah, it moves too soon, I think. So maybe I want this to be not quite level, but close enough. So when this peels, should... yeah, okay, that looks a bit nicer. So... this is a little bit irritating. Actually, what is the... okay, the Z position's fine. It's what I expect it to be. But this needs to... okay, I think that might be better. Okay, so now I need to copy the data of both of these to the other side. So, dope sheet. That one specifically. I probably need to copy both of these. Copy, Control Shift M. There, at least the usernames to the bots aren't offensive today from the looks of it. So V and then GY5. Okay, cool. Now I do need to, whenever I go to do this, I need to fix the leg tweak on this because this moves quite viciously. So you see how like on the low here, the knee goes a bit wonky before moving. So I'm definitely going to, yeah, right here. The lunge here makes the knee go a bit wonky, so that's what the knee tweak is for. Okay, I think this is acceptable enough for now. So now I need to do the body movements here. So, time to pull up their human walking reference. Again, like, how many times have I pulled this one reference up? It has to have been multiple times at this point. Okay, let's see what we got here. So when the foot is down, the hip is raised on that side. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So when the foot is down, when it's just been placed down, yeah. So when it's just been placed down, it will be rotated up on that side. Say probably about 10 degrees. Actually, no, that's probably a bit too exaggerated. 5, half that. So, duplicate the one here. Copy that, and then Control-Shift-V. So the hip tends to be more pushed in on. Let's have a look, see here. On the pass, and then it, yeah, rotates down the up. So that's fine. So the hips, actually I could probably push it just slightly further to about 7. That would give it just a little bit more character without being too overboard. And now, generally speaking, I believe the hips rotate towards whichever leg's being pushed out at the time. So I want this to be, say, rotate this around about 5 degrees. Okay, actually that's the wrong direction. It's supposed to be -5 for this. And then on the low, it's actually not supposed to rotate at all. So, Control-C and then Control-Shift-V on this low. Okay, yeah, that's supposed to be 0, so why is that not showing as neutral there? Is it because the hip's already rotating at that point? Possibly. So... the Z rotation here is probably supposed to be 5. Just read the 5. And then this one here is supposed to be 0. Okay, so that shouldn't be too bad. And then the chest swings back in the opposite direction. So whenever the character is putting weight, say on the left hand side, right? So here, the body is more moved towards the side, and then the rotation on it's almost scrunched towards the side that's putting more pressure, and that's probably just for lift more than anything else. So if I give this some rotation here, so let's say 4 degrees. And then this one, so it stays central in the middle. Oh, I actually moved that to the contact. Okay, that's not bad. I'm just going to quickly have a look at the reference on the submission. Yeah, so when the body moves the leg forward, the same side on the torso itself, so the top of the torso, is rotated backwards. So that should be easy enough to pull off. So, torso here. So on the pass, I just need to quickly look at this. Yeah, okay, so the body stays neutral until the leg is thrown out. So the pass Z rotation is neutral. And then on the up, whichever direction the leg is going, the torso is swung in the opposite direction. Probably by roughly around about the same amount. And then copy that. And then paste that. Like that. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so that definitely doesn't work. So I'm going to move this to the up. Okay, so I'm going to move this up pose here to here instead. So I'm going to set this to -4. Actually, I'm going to set this to +4. So yeah, that rotates in the same direction. I'm just going to remove that one. I'm going to delete that one. And then -4 on that. Okay, yeah, that works a lot better now. In fact, I might even push the rotation for this slightly further. Probably like maybe even double? Double seems like a pretty excessive amount. But we'll see. Okay, it's not bad. Certainly could be better, but could be worse. I'm going to check this from the side camera, if it will let me. Actually, I'm going to check this from the 3/4. Okay, the 3/4 doesn't look bad, I don't think. So, go back to side. And pause this. So, what's next? The head, most likely, and then I can just work on the arms. So, actually, there is one more thing I need to do. So, whenever Rivet's moving, I want the body to tilt in the opposite direction of where he's pushing off from. So, like, not a huge amount, but just enough, you know? So, if I go to here, on the pass, I want the body to just go in that direction, just slightly. Let's go 0.02 here. The problem is, like, actually, just gonna double check this. Okay, so it's actually more towards the push-off foot. Her walking is not very consistent, I've just realised. She has... okay, so she has a very distinct lean to her left, our right. Like, she has a very distinct lean. But I believe the movement goes towards whichever direction you're pushing off from. So if I move this now... okay, yeah, that makes slightly more sense, actually. Okay, I need to set this at minus. Maybe even slightly less than that. Like, just enough to where it's noticeable, but not enough to be weird. Okay, that's not too bad. And now the head. So I can... I was about to say, surely I don't have the root bone enabled. I don't. And then I want the head. No, go. Oh no, did... chat... Blender... okay, Blender, for whatever reason, has decided that it wanted to just freeze momentarily there. Okay, thanks for the reminder to save. I appreciate it. Okay, now, head movement. Just gonna quickly reference this again. So, the head tilts towards the direction of where the foot is pushing off from. So that's easy enough to work with. Obviously, I need to do up and down first. So, say 5 degrees here. I'm gonna say probably 8 degrees. And then this. In fact, 8 degrees might be a bit much. Let's try 5. And then this one here can be like... Actually, this one here can probably be 8. Yeah, I find that to be more reasonable. Copy, and then Control-V. The head is probably... maybe just a little bit too wobbly. So, half the both of these. To account for that. Okay, yeah, that's a bit nicer. So now I want the position of the head to be rotated towards wherever he's passing. So on the Y. Not too much though. Like 4 degrees. Why is it rotating? It should not be rotating there. Let's go positive here. And then the Y rotation on these needs to be removed. Okay, maybe I want... Because this seems to be roughly similar to the tilt on the body. So maybe I want this to be slightly more. In fact, maybe overlapping this would be a better idea. So instead of putting the Y rotation directly on pass, maybe it would be better if I moved it 2 frames across. Okay, I need to make sure that this goes on in perpetuity. Just delete the scale one so I need those. So A, Shift E, and make cyclic. So we won't have any weird glitchy stuff, hopefully. So I just need to... Okay, so there's actually no rotation of which to speak of in this one, but the head does seem to move off to the side. So I'm going to set this to back to 3 degrees for both of these. So that will give me that. But then I also want the position of this to be just slightly off to the side. And then put that in the minus. So it should be... Actually, no. It's Control C. Control Shift Okay, so I'm just looking at this. Yeah, the head does move. The head doesn't really rotate as such, though, which seems rather strange to me. But hey, what can you do? Alright, and then I need to duplicate that and then put it on the head, just so I don't forget. Might be part of the reason why it was looking so weird. So let's view this from 3/4. Okay, cool. So now all that's left to really do is the arms. Alright, time to forward kinetics this lot. So for the neutral pose, so the contact. Oh wait, I need to make sure I set this to be capable of follow. No? Okay, okay, here we go. Now I do need to take into account this garbage right here, so it doesn't clip through and ruin everything. Also, make sure I do that as well. So now, if I hide this lot, because I don't need this right now, I can now swing this back. So, looking at this, it seems like the contact is the extreme pose for the arm swing. So that should be easy enough to work with. Also, I'm pretty sure that was my uncle that just sneezed outside. Good lord, he is loud. I certainly didn't expect to hear him from in here. I know it didn't pick up a microphone, but it's still rather impressive nonetheless. So, yeah, that shouldn't be conflicting, hopefully. Yep. And then, actually, I do want to quickly just do some postal fingers. Oh, that's... what the heck? That's attached by some random thing. Bruh. Okay, regardless. Let's scale this one. Okay, cool. I do want to... okay, there we go. Rotate into a slightly better position. Because I can't rotate this inward too much lest I mess up the clipping on this. It's so silly. Okay, there we go. That should be fine. Looking at it from the front, it is a little bit stanced up, but it's not the end of the earth. Actually, maybe I can rotate this along the Y, maybe? No. I mean, like, yeah, Y technically works, but that's not what is going to get me to make this look better. Because I do want to have it all the way down, but the problem is this. Like, I don't want this garbage happening. So unless I have it, like, really far down, which is also not going to work, because that's technically passing position. Also, hide those. Because I don't want to accidentally grab stuff when I'm doing this. Okay, that's probably about as good as I'm going to get. Oh wow, actually resetting that has made my life slightly easier. Okay, good to know. Now I'm going to set this back to side camera so I can see what I'm doing. So, looking at the hand, on contact pose it's actually rotated. Those more towards this way. It'll let me. Now, the rotation isn't a huge amount, but it is enough. So, yeah, all that stays in roughly the same position, I think. I think I'm going to need the male reference for this one because the female one doesn't move her arms as much as I would like. So maybe using the masculine walking reference is probably in my better interest here. So it straightens out on the down pose, it looks like. Hang on, I'll just pull this up so chat can see it. So when he's... I'm going to use this down pose here. So whenever the contact happens, it's at the extreme of the pose. And on the down, it's already straightened out and the hand is already like bent backwards, moving towards the front. Also, the arm rotations, I do need to take that into account. So, yeah, the passing pose has the hand slightly bent neutral position with hand tilted away from this passing direction. So it's tilted. So this side's smaller than this side, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So when I'm moving here, in fact, this is actually supposed to be rotated in the other direction, I think. Just need to double check. So, contact. Yeah, shockingly, it seems the hand stays in the same position. In fact, the mechanics of it seem odd, no? Do I need more references? I'm just going to use a different one here and see if that works. Wait, is this the faster version of... Oh my god, it literally is just the faster version. That's funny. Okay, so let's see what this guy does. His arms move a lot less, I've realized. Interesting. So long strides, probably not helpful here. So, what about her hands? Do they move a lot? I think I said that they don't. Yeah, the hands are like shockingly non-mobile. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, it's surprising that the hands seem to be more inclined towards tilting the other direction, which seems a bit strange. But for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to vaguely ignore that in favor of trying to get this in the correct position. Why is that showing actively? Oh, because of the body rotation. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense, actually. So that moves here. So, in the most minimal way possible. And then this... Okay, so that moves there. So that is supposed to be tilted, and then this one... Let's say 10 degrees. And then I actually want to make the contact pose. So I'll shift D here. Just so I can get a correct contact pose going. Did I not position this properly? What the hell? Let's duplicate all of those, please. And now for the contact. So that should... Yeah, that's like roughly the position I would have wanted that to be in. Say roughly around about there. And I can just redo this slot when I'm ready. So get rid of that. Say 15 degrees here. And then, so on the pass, I want the arm to be straightened, I believe. Yeah, so straightened and tilted. So straighten there, and then this here. To be rotated towards that. Okay, that's not bad. And then I want all of these to be in the same position at the end. So the swing is actually not bad. I do need to examine this from the front, though. Okay, the front movement's actually not horrendous. I would prefer it if it swung in a little bit more, though. So... I don't think the forearm needs to do any work. I think the actual... important movements are done via this one here. So let's rotate. Is it in the Z? Do I want to? No. So on this one here, I actually probably want to move this up slightly. And then for this, I actually want this to... Yeah, the movements of the arm are basically the same on the return for the pass, for the exception of the hand, of course. So, whenever this move... Whoa, okay. Rivet, do you maybe want to explain what the hell it is you're doing? I'm sorry, hello? I didn't ask for any feet in this matter. Sorry? How would you even go about... Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm not paid enough to ask questions, to be honest. So it does that. And then... So the contact wants to be... probably around about there. So copy that and then paste that there. And then this one here needs to be like that. Okay, let's put that in the correct position this time. So it does that. Or going back in the other direction. And then the hand... Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, the fingers are doing something strange. I guess I didn't copy all the data for them correctly. Okay, let's hide these again. Okay, now this is all glitchy because I haven't done cyclic on it, I believe. Oh no, there's actually something else wrong here. I'm going to assume it's because I changed the position of the contact. Okay, yeah, it was because I changed the position of the contact. That makes the most sense. So it does that. I would prefer the arm to swing in just a bit more. So I'm gonna say maybe that much. The problem is I don't want the fingers to be grazing the leg too much. So maybe like about that much away. And then on this one I can actually just push this slightly further in. So it does that, then goes back in the other direction. The side movement's actually quite limber, I've just realized, because I'm looking at this. Like, there's no issues with the elbows as such, it just looks far more limber than I was expecting it to. Need to make sure there's no clipping. Need to, yeah, check the clipping on these. Like it's not the end of the earth, but whenever you're looking at 3/4, it's very blatantly obvious. So just, oh. Just a little bit further out. Because you can't really see the clip on the front and the middle, it's just the outside that becomes an issue. So as long as I keep away from that, I should be fine. Now, why do I feel like the forward arm motion is a bit too little? Is it because I don't have enough movement on the hand? Like, the side view looks perfectly fine. I think it might be because the... Is there not enough swinging, perhaps? Why is it doing that? Maybe the starting contact could be slightly further out. I just don't want to push it too far, you know? So it... Just very small changes are enough to really make an animation pop. I think it might be because this is... Okay, so that goes out like that. So the position of the first and last frames are absolutely fine. Oh, what the heck? Oh, I've just noticed something weird here. What is going on with this lot? Oh, actually, I know exactly why. It's because it's close to the front. Like, there's actually no difference here. It's just because the character is moving. I was like, hey, hang on a second. And then I realized, oh, wait, no, that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so... this contact here is fine. It does clip through slightly, but it's just enough that you might not be able to notice it. Let's give it like a slight extra degree more. Maybe the elbow needs to be... Okay, the elbow actually needs to be a bit straighter, I've just realized. But I think I know why. It's because the arm's not twisted yet. So whenever Rivet here walks forward, the hand looks very neutral. So there needs to be a bit of, like, some sort of hand movement. So referring back to this, on the back here, like when the arm is all the way back, it's twisted where the forearm is pointed towards the body, but the... what is that? The quadriceps? No, not quadriceps. Biceps are pointed more towards the camera. And then going through this, the arm twists in towards the body before showing the forearm, and not exactly tricep, but like the side of the arm is pointed towards the camera. So I do need to probably mimic that rotation if I want to look halfway decent. So on the frame here, I need to probably rotate this on the Y. And then because it's rotating the Y, I do have to take that rotation into account. So, rotate the Y. So, yeah, okay, that's not doing anything strange, which is good. And then... rotating the X there. Need to rotate the Z. The problem is I don't want to push it too far because I want the body to act realistically. Okay, it's probably about as far as I can push it before Rivet here becomes uncomfortable. So now, yeah, that swings in towards there. And then when I get to here, I want the entire arm to be rotated up towards the camera. And then I can probably stand to move this up just a smidge. Okay, there we go. So if I duplicate this one here. Oh, that's like really far out actually. But if I push it too hard, it's going to become an issue. Okay. Need to do that. I think probably I'm going to have to swallow the pride here on this one and just do a little bit of clipping shenanigans. In fact, I probably don't even need to do that. I just probably need to rotate this in. Wish I could just grab this and fix the problem, but it's not always that easy. Okay, so just a little bit more. So now the arm is pointed out more towards the camera. I would prefer if the starting position was a little bit more neutral. So what I'm going to do, right, is I'm actually going to copy these two keyframes here. And then I'm going to actually edit it from there. In fact, I probably only need to rotate the Y for this one. Okay, yeah, that works considerably better now that I've got a more clean keyframe to work with. So, rotating along the X would give me the extra thing that I need. Okay, so that should... Okay. Just a little bit. So just enough where it's not clipping in, but not so far as to where it looks weird. Okay, cool. So, grab all these. Shift D to duplicate that. And yeah, I think we're good to go. I do feel as though it's just a smidge bit stiff still. So what would be the cause for that? Let's have a look at the side camera. Maybe the arm needs a bit more of a flick at the top here. So maybe that much. And then I can probably just edit the curves to make it look more natural. But let's have a look at see how it looks with a duplication, like on the other side. So Alt H, grab all of these, Control C, Control Shift M, Control Shift B, Shift D, 24. And then there we go. Let's have a look see. Alright, Rivet, how are you looking? Okay, yeah, the arms certainly could use a bit more work. I think the follow through and overlap are just a smidge too stiff. Yeah, actually, you know what? That is what it is. So, it's all moving together where the top of the arm should actually be more controlling the motion of what these two are doing here. So here, they actually probably still want to be staying upwards here before moving back down, which is why it looks so stiff. I don't have the problem with the legs, I don't think, because the legs don't have that overlapping motion. Well, they don't need the same overlapping motion. So I'm going to have to edit the arms off stream, I think. Anyways, just click on that, and alright, Twitch side, do I have anyone for you to pester? If Twitch would let me have a look at the homepage, that'd be great. Nope, just the same person who does not have raids active. Honestly, I should be looking for more people to follow. Anyway, tomorrow onwards is probably going to be the Sly Cooper scene, and then the week after that, I'm not going to be streaming because of the whole surgery shebang. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Anyway, I shall see y'all tomorrow.